What's going on, you guys? So, I just finished the 16 episodes of Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan that came out on Amazon Prime. I believe it was the 31st of August. So, I literally just binged watched this show because it was very suspenseful, a lot of action, a lot of drama, a lot of thought, a lot of mystery. Awesome stuff. I really like it. So, the main question that I had, and maybe you guys had, was can John Krasinski from, if you guys are familiar, from he played Jim from The Office, is he a passable and believable Jack Ryan? Now, the reason why I have two questions with that coming into the show was one, he played Jim from The Office for like I believe like 10 seasons. So I was worried that he was going to be typecasted from that, and I was never going to be able to see him beyond that of somebody in The Office. Making jokes and pranking Dwight. I was thinking, I was like, well, he's going to be Afghanistan. Am I going to say, hey, where's Dwight? Kind of thing. And the other thing is was he going to be as good as the other Jack Ryans that came before him? Like Alec Baldwin, and I'm not going to say Ben Affleck, so don't worry about that. But the best Jack Ryan that I believe is, bar none, is Harrison Ford. And the reason I say that is because Clear and Present Danger is one of my favorite movies, not of the Jack Ryan series, possibly one of my favorite movies that I've ever watched in my life. It had a lot of things. It had, the stuff that was going on in the government and on Capitol Hill. It had the stuff that was going on, like, behind the closed doors in the CIA and, the White House, as well as it had action with, troops fighting in the jungles of Colombia. Had a lot of really awesome things. And it had, like, it started out very authentic. You're on a Coast Guard cutter, and all the people there felt very realistic, felt very military. Everything felt just right. It felt very real. Now, in this show, I'm going to touch on that military aspect real quick because there's a few things I noticed in this show that didn't come off quite as believable. There was one part and it was in like the second episode, I think, where they're being dropped off. I believe is in Yemen, and the vehicle that was dropping them off was Army Huey, which seemed odd because the Army uses Blackhawks. Whenever I was on a military base, I would only see Blackhawks. I know the Marines use Hueys, but it was just really odd to see an Army Blackhawk. And I'm there's probably Army Hueys out there. I just never seen them, so it just felt kind of off. And also it was painted weird, so I don't know, it just felt odd. And the other thing was, is based in the same episode, the U.S. soldier that was guarding some prisoners had like a oversized, at least to me, oversized American flag that was in full colors on his multicams on his chest, which is seemed like an odd place because usually you have it on your right shoulder, and so it just seemed odd, but like nothing big. Uh, the Coast Guard scene that you probably see in this trailer here with that Huey, that felt authentic, that felt real. So yeah, in terms of that parts, everything like that felt real and authentic. So besides that, everything else was good. Now, the trick comes is where does it scale? Is it worth your time to watch? Okay, because you have a lot of great movies out there like Clear and Present Danger, Hunt for Red October. Can it stack up? And I will say yes, it does. I binge watched this show because it was good. If it was like the second episode, I'm like, oh man, this thing is not good. I would have just stopped and be like, made this review and be like, no, and end the review. But it had a lot of really cool things. It had good action, a lot of good action scenes. It had drama scenes. There was a lot of mystery about Jack Ryan's past, is also Admiral James Greer's past. The other thing that kind of stuck with me was how thought provoking the attacks were. Like the main enemy in this show is a guy named Suleiman, and I was expecting, like basically, he's Islamic fundamentalist, and I was just expecting, like he was going to drive a truck to a U.S. base and like blow stuff up, and like I'm going to go blow this up, and Jack Ryan's going to come and try to fight me, and eventually he's going to win. I just thought it was going to be like that, but it had more depth than just that. he did make an attack, but the attack had much more meaning, and it would related to a lot of other things that would happen later or did happen, and it was part of a bigger plot. So everything this guy did, resulted in something that was going to happen later. And I really like that because it was when you think of, oh, this is what's going to happen, it was completely something else. It's gonna trick you up a little bit, and I really like that because stuff like that keeps you going. The other thing that I liked is people do die in this show. Like supporting cast members do die, and I that adds a lot of realism to this because there are a lot of shows out there that you have supporting cast members that keep just recurring. They're putting in really bad, spots where it looks like they're about to die, or they get shot, and you're like, oh man, did they just kill off that guy? No, no. Somehow the doctor shows up 5 minutes later, pulls the bullet out, repairs his lung, and you're like, oh, okay, so that didn't happen. Okay, and then a couple episodes later, they do the same thing with somebody else, and it's like, oh, did he just die? No, he didn't die, and you just kind of like, oh, all right. I mean, you know, I understand why they do that. They want like those roles to possibly come back and you know keep their options open. But when you kill off certain characters that you're like, oh wow, I don't really like this person. She has a lot of I don't want to kind of give it away, but she has a lot of depth to her character, and she's actually kind of really interesting. And then, oh wow, oh I didn't see that coming. So yeah, I really like that. So the question comes out at the end here. Is this show worth $119 for you to watch? Because that's what Amazon Prime costs, right, per year. By itself, no. Okay, I wouldn't spend $119 on this show to watch, right? Now, if you already have Amazon Prime, this is a great addition. Like this is a great addition. If it hits DVD, it would probably be a show that I would possibly pick up. If I had to kind of like catalog it in terms of the Jack Ryan series, I would probably definitely Clear and Present Danger on top, right? And I'm kind of like borderline between two of them, Patriot Games and Hunt for Red October. Actually, probably Hunt for Red October would be number two.
You son of a bitch!
And then Patriot Games 3. And then after Patriot Games, I would put this show. And that leaves Sum of All Fears with Ben Affleck and Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit with Chris Pine on the bottom. And I'm not saying that those movies are bad. I do watch Sum of All Fears every so often. I just felt that this show is better than those two. Yeah, so that does it for my review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this kind of convinced you whether you should watch it. I would recommend it. Have Amazon Prime, knock it out. If you don't, I would probably, see if you do it on iTunes when it goes on sale or something for like $10, $20. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I will catch you guys in the next one. See you then.